Welcome back to ADOS the Great YouTube channel. So in today's video, we are going to be going through 5 potential trades that could happen in the NBA according to Bleacher Report. So what I'm going to do is we'll go through these trades and then I'll pop them in through NBA 2K and we'll see how the league turns out with these trades. Now some of them aren't as big as others, but it could really help the league. So here we go. Let's get into it, guys. The first trade is Goran Drogic to Chicago. Now, I like this trade. Chicago are kind of in that win now sort of position. So, trading for Goran Drogic and a 2023 second round pick is probably a smart move. Now, they will have to give up Kobe White, who can definitely help Toronto in the future. I think this is probably a win-win trade for both sides. So Derrick Jones Jr. is also a pretty decent player. Like he's not the best by any means, but he's versatile. He gets the job done. He does what he needs to do for teams. So I think 2 young players going to the Raptors could definitely help them out a bit. And Goran Drogic, I think, doesn't really want to be in Toronto. So moving him to Chicago could be a good move. So that's the first trade. The second one I really like, and that's Marvin Bagley to to San Antonio. So basically you've got Marvin Bagley traded for Thaddeus Young, straight up deal. Like Marvin Bagley apparently requested a trade last year, or his father wanted him traded. So there's a bit of bad blood there between the Bagley family and the Kings. So, trading Marvin Bagley for Thaddeus Young is probably a decent move because Thaddeus Young was actually pretty good last year. And I think he can definitely help the development of some of the younger players at the Kings. So I think this is a pretty decent trade. Like obviously Spurs are getting the better player for sure. Like at this point in the careers, like Thaddeus Young's probably had his best basketball behind him now, and Marvin Bagley Jr. is pretty much just starting out. So I think Bagley to the Spurs is a good move, and I think it's a fairly fair trade, to be honest. The next trade is Terrence Ross to Cleveland. Now this is probably one of the ones that it's like doesn't really matter too much because Chetty Osman hasn't really had time to show what he can do, and I think on a new team he can, especially one that he doesn't really have that high expectation on. He didn't really at Cleveland, but at Orlando there's not really much expectations for them to make playoffs. I think Cleveland have slightly more expectations of probably at least making the play-in. I don't know, I could be wrong with that, but you've got a young core in Jalen Suggs, Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, and even RJ Hampton. Like you got a pretty young core there, and I think bringing in these 2 can definitely help. Terrence Ross, I think, can help Cleveland Cavaliers now. Obviously, he's not going to win them a championship, but I definitely think he can help them contend for a play-in spot. We've then got Buddy Hield to Atlanta. I really like this trade because, so I won't go into it yet. We won't go down, but I like Buddy Hield on Atlanta because I think him and Trae Young complement each other very well. Like Atlanta probably have one of the funnest teams, and most of their players can knock down threes. So adding Buddy Hield will help them take that next step, I think, and cement them as a top 4 team in 2021, 2022. So this is the trade: Buddy Hield for Cam Reddish and Danilo Gallinari. So, Sacramento pick up a couple of decent players. Cam Reddish is a very young player, but, I think he's definitely going to help with the progression of that team. And Danilo Gallinari, similar to Thaddeus Young, can go over there and be sort of that mentor to some of the younger players. And he's still a good player. So I think the Kings can definitely benefit from this trade. Then finally, I don't know if I'm going to chuck this one into 2K because we've already sort of been over this one. That's Ben Simmons and Isaiah Joe to the Indiana Pacers for Karis LeVert, TJ Warren, and Chris Duarte, and a 2022 first round pick. Now, when I put up the video about this, I had a lot of, well, I had one Pacer fan completely disagree and say that, the Pacers aren't getting back enough for two of their starting guards. And I completely agree. I'd probably take TJ Warren out of this trade and just leave it as Karis LeVert, Chris Duarte, and maybe a 2022 first round pick, and then another protected pick later on down the track. I think that's pretty fair. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is probably, you're not going to get much more for Ben Simmons now. Ben Simmons is he's not washed up, but he's, then you're not going to get many good offers for him now. So yeah, this is the trades, guys. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to jump over to 2K and we will see how they reckon all this will go. So I'll see you guys in a second. All right, guys, so here we are. Now, let me run through everything. So I've done the 5 trades, but I've obviously had to make a few little tweaks to them. So this one was as is, Marvin Bagley for Thaddeus Young. So Danilo Gallinari and Cameron Reddish for Buddy Hield. I had to add Jamias Ramsey into that one as well, just to make the trade work. So this one's as is, except Etwan Moore has been added. This one is pretty much as is, but instead of the second round picks, I just put in Delano Banton. No idea who Delano Banton actually is, but yeah. So, and then finally, Ben Simmons, Isaiah Joe for Karis LeVert, TJ Warren, Chris Duarte, and a 2022 first round pick. Top 3 protected as it said, and I just added Jaden Springer to make everything work. So yeah, guys, I guess we'll jump in and see how everyone's lining up here. So no real change to, other than Kobe White, there's no real change to this to the squad. Derek Jones Jr. probably won't play. This one, Marvin Bagley obviously comes straight in. This one, obviously the 2 new players come straight into the team. The Bulls. So Goran Drogic will be a backup there, which I like. I think he can definitely compete for 6th man of the year. Cavaliers, nothing changes there except you get Terrence Ross, a shooter off the bench. Then we have, again, no change here. Buddy Hield could be an elite 6th man, or he starts over Bogdanovic. It's up to the Hawks how they want to play that. Thaddeus Young comes straight in for the Kings, and then they add Gallinari and Reddish to the bench. I like that. I think that's pretty good for them. For the Magic, no change really to their starting 5, but they add... Who did they add? Windler and Osman. Neither of them are playing, so does nothing for them in 2K. Ben Simmons is added here. I do think he probably starts at small forward. Just personally, that's what I would do. But now they are without a shooting guard. So I think we make McConnell probably a shooting guard. He does go down, but that's fine. So I like that lineup. I think that's going to be pretty good for the Pacers. We've seen the Raptors. So yeah, let's see how every team goes, guys. I'm pretty excited to see this. I've done a lot of trade rumor videos, but nothing this big. So yeah, there's a lot of teams I don't expect to really make the playoffs. Here we go. Now I'm going to have to do this. So I think out of all of these, the Pacers, the Cavs, obviously the 76ers, and maybe the Spurs, maybe. should make at least a play-in. The Hawks. So the 76ers, the Hawks will more than likely make the playoffs, like lock it in. I think you'll find the Pacers, the Cavs. I don't think, looking at the Spurs record, I don't think they'll make it. So maybe just the Pacers, the Cavs, and the Raptors, I will say, could fight for a play-in. But other than that, I think... the Bulls, sorry. Another one. We've just got so many teams we're controlling. The Bulls should make the playoffs. So, yeah, we'll go to after the All-Star break and see how every team's going so far. So, league standings. Any teams that we're controlling? No. Kings, they should make the play-in. So that's good for them. The Spurs aren't too... they could slot in there, but I doubt it. Eastern Conference 76ers are doing well with their new team, so shout out to them. Hawks are up there, and the Bulls, as I said. Pacers should make the play-in. Raptors could get up there as well. Cavaliers and Magic are terrible at the moment. Let's check out player stats for everyone. So Marvin Bagley's really not doing great over there. This is actually his worst year. Yeah, that's not good. You don't want to see that. So Karis LeVert's playing pretty well. TJ Warren's not playing great. This is by far his worst season. So that's a bit disappointing. The Bulls, Drogic's playing really well off the bench, so shout out to him. And that was it for the Bulls. Cavs, Terrence Ross is not playing well for them at all. I know he's only on the bench, but I would have thought he'd do a little bit better than that. Buddy Hield, I guess he's doing what they need him to do, so that's not too bad. But yeah, other than that, it's not the best. Gallinari's doing all right for the Kings, but I think you'll find De'Aaron Fox might get most improved. Thaddeus Young's doing all right for them as well. Like, he's putting out decent numbers. Like 11, 6, and 5 is pretty good with 1.5 steals and a block a game. Like, that's actually not bad. Then we have the Magic. So none of their new players are actually playing. So we don't need to worry too much about that. Ben Simmons is not doing... Well, he's doing all right, but apparently he's shooting threes. Not well, but he's shooting them. So a fresh start might do him some good. How's he going? 7 from 26. He's taking a lot more attempts, so give him credit for that. I think that was it for them. It was. Then we have the Raptors. Kobe White's doing all right for him. I think that was it. Spurs, we're back to. So, did they put out my Aussie mate on here? They did not. What a stitch up. Alright, that's all good. So we'll finish off the season now and see how my predictions went. So they're looking alright at the moment, my predictions. So that's a positive, except for the Cavaliers. I thought they'd do a little bit better. But hey, it is what it is. So yeah, we're coming to the tail end of the season here. I think it's going to be an interesting playoffs. So LeBron James is your MVP. Evan Mobley is the Rookie of the Year. Andre Drummond's the sixth man. Giannis is the defensive player. Most improved actually goes to Tyrese Maxey. And Quinn Snyder is the Coach of the Year. So any players on our teams? Yes. We've got Joel Embiid. That's it. Vucevic. Okay. No one there. We get Ball on the second team. Jonathan Isaac. Okay, that's all right. What about rookies? Magic, so Suggs. Mobley, obviously. Magic, Kings, Davian Mitchell did all right. Scotty Barnes. All right, so Kings do not make play-in. The only team we've got, well, actually, do we? I don't think we have anyone. So we've got no one in the West, but we have 4 in the East. So Ben Simmons goes up against his old team. Okay, that's not too bad, I suppose. I mean, it definitely could be better. But yeah, let's just check out the standings and see how everyone did. Kings were only 1 win off, so I'll give them credit. Spurs were not. Oh, yeah, Spurs were a bit behind. The Eastern standings now. Let's see here. Raptors were close. Cleveland were not. Well, Raptors were actually a fair distance away, but that's all good. I think we can just simulate playing and see how it all goes. Shout out to my Minnesota Timberwolves. Love the Timberwolves, my favourite team. They made the playoffs. All right, so simulate round. One of these teams are going to get eliminated from each. So Atlanta make it through and Philly make it through. All right, so the old Pacer boys are doing well over on the Hawks. Let's have a look at the Hawks. Trae Young killing it in the playoffs. How about our new recruit? Buddy Hield's not doing great. That's all right. Kings are not in. Neither are the Magic. The Pacers are knocked out. Brogdon led the way for them, so shout out to him. Who else have we got? 76ers, obviously Joel Embiid's killing it. Both these boys are doing all right in the playoffs, so, they're putting up decent numbers. The Bulls got eliminated, I believe. DeRozan and Levine leading it there. So, yeah, we've got Philly against Milwaukee and Brooklyn against Atlanta. Can we see some upsets here, guys? Let's check it out. All right, so Trae Young leads the Hawks over the Nets. Good game from Buddy Hield too, so shout out to him. All right, what about this game? It looks like the 76ers could get the win here. They did. Good win, and Karis LeVert carries the 76ers in their first win. So, yeah, let's see who wins the next one. Looks like the Hawks are actually putting some damage on against the Nets. Good win there for them. Buddy Hield doing his thing. Trae Young killing it. Alright. I did not expect to see that. I think the Bucks will get the win here, though. Very rare Giannis goes down 2-0 that often. But he does in this one, as Joel Embiid kills it for the 76ers. All right, we now have the Hawks losing this one. Can the 76ers go 3-0? And I think they will. Giannis is, Giannis is not, is he playing? Yes, he is. All right, was not expecting that. Hawks really need to win this. If they want to... I reckon the Nets will come back here, but 76ers just need to win this one, and then they go through, but they are not going to get that win. The Hawks must win this game. I mean, if they lose now, they're out. Oh, I think this might be it for the Atlanta Hawks. Now, the 76ers are going to throw another game away. So this one is a must-win now for the Hawks, and they're not going to win, I don't think. They aren't. So they do blow a 2-0 lead. Hawks are out. 76ers are in a little bit of trouble here. They've won it though. They've got out of it. So that's a positive. Probably the best thing to come out of it there. So we've got Brooklyn versus Philadelphia. And Brooklyn look like they're off to a bloody good start. So shout out to Brooklyn there. Can Philly come back? And they are. They're going to... Oh, no, they're not. Wow, I spoke too soon. All right, they've got a couple of home games now, I believe. And it's not going to matter. Brooklyn win this game and they're off. They go off to face the Lakers. Well, I shouldn't speak too soon. There we go. They lose. So Brooklyn might be playing Utah. Brooklyn are playing the Jazz. What a weird lineup. All right, so let's simulate round. Brooklyn get the win though, guys. James Harden is your finals MVP. If we take a look back on the year that was, I think Philadelphia win this little trade. Chicago and Indiana most improved. Like those two are up there. Indiana didn't make the playoffs, I don't believe, last year. And Chicago obviously didn't. So, yeah, they're the most improved teams out of all the trades. Who do we think the most improved teams were all up for? I think the Timberwolves are one because they did pretty well. Pelicans are another. So they're probably the most improved in the West. In the East, Boston would be up there, Indiana and Chicago, I'd say. Anyway, guys, I'm pretty much going to wrap it up here. Thought I'd do this bit of a video for you guys. If you did enjoy this one, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.